I kick aside my hamper and pull open the curtains to peer outside. The view's not as good here, but I don't think I could stand being in there too much longer. I tense, feeling the brush of fur on my arm. Carl is standing next to me, some freeze-dried ice cream in his grasp. Jesus, when did he get so quiet? He doesn't say anything, which puts me in the awkward position of being the one to speak. Fat ass. I mumble. Carl holds up the ice cream, which has a weird wafer-like consistency. I told Daxton I'd give him a bunch of Hens cartons I got back at my house. Your folks won't mind? They won't notice. I could just say I ate it myself. Yeah. They wouldn't doubt that. There's a light smile on his muzzle now. Right? I blink. You're... okay? Not really. All this stuff got my mind off the interview, though. Just kinda want to go home and play video games without getting shot. There's a silent pause. Jeez. What he said wasn't true. Oh, I know. I let out a sharp exhale, closing my eyes for a second. I let the tip of my repeater rest against the floor. Thank you, though. For what? Defending me back at the office. The Ram shakes his head dismissively. I don't think you'll see most of them besides Leo again after tomorrow, though. Like you said, none of this matters. The truth does. I guess your spring break hookup with Chase isn't going to be a long-term thing then, right? I wasn't really expecting that to be brought up. Who told him? Or was it that fucking obvious? He pulls out his phone, seeming to check to see whether my Wi-Fi is working yet. I grunt, clearing my throat. I just want to know what happened. Dude, if it was Chase, I'd just get in my car and drive back to Pueblo at this point. I don't think he's gonna do that. Why? I locked his ass in the reading room. Carl's eyes widen. The Ram reacted much quicker than normal without his usual pates. So, that's where you went. I think that's a crime, man. So is murder. Dude. This is Chase you're talking about. Yeah. I look offward, peering at the sorry state my room is at the moment. I usually keep shit tidy, but now there's dirty laundry all over the place and everything kinda smells musky. Nowhere near as bad as Carl's, but still. I'm just gonna talk to him. No torture or anything, right? Fucking hell, Carl. Do you really think I'd do that? I'm not Leo. I was joking. He rolls his shoulders. It feels kind of like when we were kids again, with all this stuff. Yeah, it's... I trail off, like my mouth is refusing to speak the words in my head. He sets his not icy ice cream down on my nightstand and resists the urge to yell at him about the crumbs. Meanwhile, Daxton starts up the blender again in the other room. Man. I think I hear Carl sigh. Do you want, like, a hug or something? I look down at him, raising a brow. Do you? He shrugs, seeming a mixture of numb and trepidatious. I just don't want you to leave, dude. Not like everyone else. It takes me a moment to register a shift in conversation. After everything that's happened, that's what's bothering him the most. The fact that I said I might leave town. Man, we talked about this shit earlier. I know, dude. Carl rubs at his jaw and face with the base of his paws, pacing upon the carpeted floor. It suck ass, that's all. Not a good way, either. I fidget with my rifle, acting like I'm doing something with it while I think of what to say. You'd be alright. I don't know. You seem to be friendlying up with Dax. He even plays video games and does all that other nerd shit you like that I don't. You game sometimes? Yeah, only because you do. I guess that's the point, isn't it? He scratches at his beanie, a bit of his head fur peeking out from the horn holes. I say nothing, just watching him go back and forth. I wish he wasn't so nervous. I wish he'd just say it. He's cool. And you're not all anxious around him. I still kinda am. Tch. You were talking about porn and shit with him within an hour of your first conversation. That's how you can tell you've made a good friend. I put on a smirk. If that were the case, you'd be the most popular guy in the county. No, fuck off, bleeder. I smirk, regardless. With a shift of my hips, I nudge him with my tail. Stop your treading, you're wearing out the carpet. Sorry. He stops, looking down at his hooves for a moment, then back up to me. If I stayed put, I'd probably start sticking to it. Fuck you. I smile, though I try to stifle it. I always thought us lizard folk looked fucking creepy when we smile. We don't really have that same cutesy appeal like most furry fuckers. Like Carl. This is gonna sound really gay, but promise you won't leave, dude. The seriousness of the request makes me pause. I look into his eyes. I feel like a selfish asshole. Carl's not fucking ready for this world. He's just gonna rot here. But I never really felt right filling this whole big brother role again after what happened. Carl shifts his weight from hoof to hoof, noting my lack of response. I know I'm like a total burden, but... You're not a fucking burden. Huh? You keep me from losing my mind in this shithole, you know that? You're the reason I haven't left already. Carl stops shifting, seeming to be trying to wrap his head around that admission. He opens his muzzle to speak, but I cut him off. And don't fucking go off again about how you're almost 21 and you should be better on your own. Turning into an adult doesn't magically fix all the shit that fucked you up as a kid. Dude, you're not... He thins his lips, the ram looking rather awkward. I'll stay. For now. For real? That's what I just fucking said, you absolute dumbass. The next thing I know, Carl's fist is against my soft spot. I flinch back, irking instinctively, but there's no pain. Only that same usual tingly feeling. He's not punching me. He's poking me. The corner of Carl's lip curls upward in a sort of half smile. He nudges me again, this time in the shoulder. I raise an inquisitive brow, thumping him back. He steps forward, wrapping his arms around my torso. I'm left standing, a little baffled at what just happened, with Carl's thick arms around my midsection. His fur is coarse. Not quite to the point that it's pricking me, but it has its weight to it. I look down at the top of his beanie noggin, and it really is just like when he was a kid again. A real damn milksop. There's no back pats with the hug. He lingers. I open my mouth to say something stupid, but I just bite my tongue. I don't draw back either. Closing my eyes, I empty my mind and just stop thinking for a moment. I lean forward, resting my chin between his horns. I get this weird, sorta twisty feeling in my chest. Carl shifts again, as if trying to look up. And of course, the edge of his hoof steps right on one of my toes. I suppress a grimace just as the ram lifts his head up enough to meet me eye to eye. Sorry. It's fine. I'm tough.
Hey.
Jenna's voice startles us both, and we pull apart. I pivot on Hill to see the fox staring at us with the look I can't quite place. Surprised, bemused, even a bit wry.
Food's ready.
She looks at both of us. Carl acts like he's checking his phone.
High school me would be squeeing right now. I swear, there's something in the tap water.
Open my mouth to protest, then just let a quiet ugh. I have to will my tail not to curl in on itself.
Then again, I'm pretty sure you don't drink plain water.
She seems to be looking up at Carl. I can practically see Carl's blush through the fur on his cheeks.
Flynn, when you got a minute?
What? I clear my throat, putting on a more neutral expression. What do you want?
I need to talk to you. Not about this.
Her eyes flick back and forth between us. She's drinking in the sight like Carl downs energy drinks. What the hell does she want to talk to me alone about? I glance down to Carl, then back. Yeah, I'm still gonna keep watch after, though.
Is that what you were doing?
She turns, departing as soon as she finishes speaking, not letting me get a word out. Fucking typical. I rub my hand over my face. It was just a hug. Carl's voice is quiet, but still rings defensive. Tch, fuck her. I'm, glad you're staying, though, dude. I grunt, reaching over and squeezing the pudge of the ram's side. He grins instinctively, trying to push my hand away. I give his pectoral one last pinch before giving him a nudge out the door to my room. I guess I'm supposed to feel embarrassed right now. But I don't really. I'm just glad to have this loser around. Daxon will be good for Carl if I do go, but I don't want to think about that right now. As I turn to leave, I look at my bed and can't help but see him laying there. The vacant look in his eye, my cum still splattered on his neck. Fucker was playing me the whole time. And for what? To get off? That's all it was. It's spring break. And he, for some reason, watched enough scaly porn to want me. Consequence-free, right? The sound of clinking silverware in the kitchen pulls me back into the present. I straighten up my pants, waiting for my cock to fully retreat before heading back to the kitchen with my rifle. Yeah. There they all are. Carl's already poking around inside a salad bowl on the counter, glancing up at me briefly. Daxton's the only one sitting, staring at the water in his glass. I sling my rifle over my shoulder. I grab one of the salamander's cups from the cupboard and get myself what looks like an apple banana smoothie. The cup itself is labeled for some sorta convention, though the exact name of it has worn away from many washings. As I move to the salad, Carl nudges me. At first, I think he's just being playful, but then I follow his eyes. Leo's pacing back and forth by the window, muttering something about Clint. He keeps checking his phone, the wolf pretty evidently restless as all hell. TJ's looking at him too, his expression difficult to place. He's never been exactly hard to read when he's upset like this. His nervous tick always gives him away. Yet, I can't tell what he looks more of, concerned or guilty. I'm usually good at reading folks, so this is kinda pissing me off. I take a seat next to Daxton.
I am, a bit out of the loop here.
His big blue eyes shift from person to person. Might be best if you fuck off again for a bit.
Seriously, can you just explain something for once instead of being, like, a weird cryptic shithead?
I can see lines form along Daxton's smooth forehead as he furrows his brows. His skin's so tightly stretched across his body, it makes his even slightest change of face readily visible. I don't have a clue how the furry tits get my kind confused with his. As I grunt and mutter for him to eat my shit, I can't help but wonder if I should bring him up to speed or not. I guess part of me wants as many people as possible to know what happened. I mean, fuck. That's what I have always wanted, right? These fuckers finally acting like something happened, and that our little group wasn't just little old Leo, Chase, TJ, Jenna, Carl, and I. Eventually, everybody sits to eat. There's not enough room at the kitchen island for everybody, so TJ and Jenna sit on the counter by the fridge. TJ is still not saying much.
Alright, I still can't access Wi-Fi or make calls. Daxton, is it? Yep. Were we not taking shelter from Clint, we wouldn't mean to impose upon you like this, so my apologies.
It's alright. He pokes at a clump of almond shavings in the salad.
I just want to know what's going on.
She looks to TJ. Then, after a quiet, affirming nod from the lynx, she responds to the salamander.
When we were younger, one of our neighbors, our friend, drowned in Lake Emma.
She pauses.
Actually, they died in the hospital later on, but the point is, we were all there for it. It was a rather traumatizing experience, even for the older members of our sort of friend group at the time.
She speaks in such a plain, even tone, she might as well be reading the directions off the back of a TV dinner. Everyone, including Daxton, looks incredibly uncomfortable. The salamander just nods in faux understanding.
Oh.
He digs into his salad with such focus, it's like he's trying to read a book in there.
So, let's just jump right into it.
She takes a big drink from her smoothie, leaving us in anticipation. I groan quietly.
Flynn,
Fucking what?
do you believe that Chase killed Sydney?
What? Daxton looks up, letting out a little wisp of laughter, assuming we're joking. As he sees he's the only one laughing, he starts to look visibly tense. I didn't fucking expect her to just straight up ask me this either. Well, way I see it, either Chase is lying, or TJ is. Well, fuck it. Maybe they both are, and are covering for each other's asses. But Chase in there was spouting bullshit like a steer's rear. I point to TJ, who quickly looks away. Threw me under the bus the moment he started squealing. Chase wouldn't lie to me about something big like this, yeah? But neither would you, Tej. I just... The wolf rubs his paw through the fur on his face. TJ shifts, looking like he's about to start crying again. I'm not lying. It's still word versus word with you two. And Chase fucked off once TJ told us what happened from his point of view. Which took you long enough, by the way. I hard-eye the lynx, but his own eyes are cast so far away from me, they might as well be in the back of his head.
TJ.
Jenna rubs her paws on a napkin, wringing it some before speaking again.
Tell us about the monster you saw.
Oh, come on. Jenna ignores me.
Give us as many details as you can. And take as much time as you need.
TJ clutches his bowl of salad in his lap with both paws. It looks like he hasn't had a bite. His eyes take on that more reflective quality they always do when the tears are starting to well. It's unnerving on a sort of primal level to see TJ tearing up like this. He's an adult, a grown-ass man looking just like he did when he was a kid. Reminds me of how little any of us have truly grown up.
Like I said before, tall, with burnt skin. Reddish, I guess. How tall? Like, almost 7 feet.
Jenna frowns.
How did it move? Really fast? Or not at all? It was like pictures, you know? A slideshow that was being fast-forwarded.
Carl finally looks up from his hooves, the ram appearing increasingly nervous.
When it walked through the water didn't move like a wake. It just splashed out with each step. Tell me about the face again, please. Oh, okay.
TJ's having such a hard time getting the words out, but Jenna doesn't stop. She looks wrapped.
3 holes. 2 for the eyes. 1 for the mouth. They weren't like bloody or anything. Just empty. Dark.
Everyone's silent for a moment. Then, next to me, Daxton rises to his feet. The salamander walks around to where TJ's sitting, then points to something behind him. Like this? He's pointing at the electrical socket? TJ turns, looking at it. Then he twitches as if startled. He quickly wipes his eyes and nods. Daxton stares, slack-jawed. Leo takes a loud slurp from his smoothie. There's a dribble of the pink liquid stuck in his fur around the edge of his jowls. Guys, am I missing something here? I saw it. Saw what, Carl? That thing! Carl gestures toward the electrical outlet. I give him an incredulous look as we meet each other's glances for a second. Yeah? I saw a pretty nifty light switch back when I was 13. I looked at TJ. It didn't make me hide the truth about my friend's murder for about a decade. Shut up, dude. I blink at Carl. He stands up, still staring at the socket. When I crashed my car that night, you remember? I do. Carl didn't want to talk about it for months after it happened. I only found out about the truth then. It was after he dropped out of college. Apparently, it was way fucking past twilight, and he was drugged out of his mind. The scabies-ridden fat-ass Jeremy gave him acid in his trailer, and he had a bad trip. Carl describes some cartoon he put on. A tiger and a bird, with the tiger baking the bird alive. He mentioned how vivid everything was, and how the fucking Jeremy wouldn't stop laughing. He busted out of there and drove off all hightail-like. While making his way down Route 65, he swerved and hit a pot. The impact would have killed him if he weren't so thick-skulled. And, of course, he told his dear old parents about it, and they took the blame for everything. They didn't want him to be tested when the cops showed. It wasn't until a couple months ago he told me. In his drug-addled mind, he thought he had driven to Pueblo and picked up Chase. Carl claimed he was taking him the whole ride back, telling him how college life was going and shit. Stroking his horns, mentioning how he missed him and wanted him back as a roommate. You know, all the shit Chase never actually said after Carl dropped out. The fucker barely even responded to his messages. He could have sworn when he swerved off the road and struck the pole, he killed Chase, crushed somehow at impact. He wouldn't stop shaking. I made a joke that I would have helped him bury the body. I threw up later thinking about it. Yeah. Ram is looking at me now with these really big, sad eyes. I never see him like this. Sober and fully fucking aware of really bad shit. Usually the moment shit starts getting remotely bad, he smokes till his mind melts the horrors away, as he calls them. There's none of that shit here, that's for certain. I never liked how it makes me feel, and Daxton's too nerdy to know any pot dealers. This is going to sound really nuts, but that thing TJ is describing, with the electrical socket face, it was chasing me that night, man. I saw it! Exactly how TJ described. That's how it moved. I thought I had outran it, but then it was in the car with me, where I thought Chase was, and I hit the fucking pole, man. Where Chase was? Leo looked at Carl with raised eyebrows. I let out a puff of exasperated air. You were tripping balls on acid. I looked to the rest of the group. That's why he thought he was with Chase. Leo's expression furrows. You've done acid, Carl? Yeah, I know how it sounds. I thought it seemed familiar earlier when TJ was describing it at City Hall. But that face... It was just like an outlet. Daxton's nodding along with everything Carl says.
Flynn, I literally was just telling you about this shit. I saw it in my dream, in the water. It's the second time I've seen it in 2 days. I recognize it too. Not in a dream or because of drugs, though.
She looks over at TJ, who appears even more frightened with the confessions from those around him.
When I was younger, well, much younger, I sometimes saw it during times I was really angry or sad. It's the closest thing I've ever had to what my grandmother described as a spiritual experience. When I told her about it, she told me it sounded a lot like a Wendigo. What?
Leo crosses his arms firmly over his chest, the wolf having been the last one who was still actually eating dinner.
Guys, I understand the stress of all this, yeah? But seriously, this is too much. Gina, you're pragmatic and all that, and to see you're going off like this has me awfully concerned. This isn't one of our old VHS horror movie nights.
He looks at me now, his voice stern and steady.
Sydney is not some zombie thing rising from the lake to get revenge on us spring breakers. He was just a kid, and he died, and we need to move on. Forget, forgive. I don't give a damn, really.
He brings his heavy paw up to his face, rubbing at the space between his eyes. His nose is starting to bleed, probably cracking from how dehumidified I keep it in here. I want to believe what he's saying. I'm ready to call all these fuckers out on their bullshit. But at the same time, the coincidence of all this is just too much. TJ's tough to read now, but I don't doubt the sincerity of Carl, Jenna, or even Daxton in that they believe what they're saying. I just want the truth. That's all I want. I sigh. I think we should talk to my aunt.
Why your aunt?
She's good with this sort of shit. I pause. Well, I don't know what this is that's happening, but fuck. I don't know what else to do. Leo just frowns at me.
I'm guessing you're wanting to go now, huh?
You can go home if you want. I know it's tempting now that Chase isn't here for you to stalk.
You're partly right. I'm really wanting to talk to Chase alone about all this, the lying and stuff.
He shrugs.
Who knows? Maybe he's in the Wendigo too. Do you have a spare gun I could borrow? Jesus, is this really what it's come to?
I look at Leo for a long moment. He's been sort of a gun nut as of late, which is real strange noting how against them he was in high school. You licensed?
Yep, open carry. I know what I'm doing. That's not saying much, noting our state has the most lax weapon licensing standards in the nation.
That's typical Jenna for you. Reality's going out the window, but she's still there, thrusting some socio-political bullet point in the middle of it. All my shit's licensed for me and me alone. Leo clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth.
Bah, this isn't time for your by-the-book stuff. I'm grabbing one of your flashlights. I'll be in the van.
He opens the front door and leaves. I guess we're going.
Same so.
Carl and Daxton look at each other.
I'm not feeling very good.
If you're gonna puke, do it on Dak's side of the sink. The salamander, who was already looking unnerved, somehow manages to frown even more. Jenna strokes the lynx's arm, muttering something that I can't quite catch. For a split second, a glimmer of a sad smile appears on his face. It diminishes quickly, but I guess I'm glad TJ is not completely broken. The group begins to head out, leaving their plates and cups on the counter. I linger a bit, catching Jenna as she's wiping her paws off on a dish towel. Hey.
Yeah?
You wanted to tell me something? She gives me a look like she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Hmm?
She pauses, then nods as if remembering something.
I'm happy for you and Carl.
Her tone is idle, her mind seemingly focused elsewhere.
If he's going to explore his sexuality, it's good that it's with someone he knows and trusts who's, experienced.
What? I cross my arms tightly over my chest, squinting down at her. How the fuck would she know I'm experienced? We ain't a thing.
Yes, you were never much for having things in general.
She looks out the window, her expression kind of like a mix of distant and troubled. Everyone's filing into the van, except Daxton, who's holding up his phone to the sky trying to get service, I guess. As I open my mouth to rebut, she holds up her paw.
It's not what I wanted to talk to you about. And I suppose current matters are
She sighs.
more pressing than would be appropriate to delay this conversation.
Her demeanor seems to shift, her posture not as full of that holier-than-thou air that she usually seems hell-bent on putting on. I can see Leo behind the wheel now, surely getting antsy. Yeah, Leo looks like he's about to pop a hemorrhoid already.
I just wanted you to know. I understand your concerns more clearly.
I grunt. Yeah, well, hopefully my aunt can help me understand yours. I thumb back toward the electrical socket. Jenna looks at it, purses her lips and scowls. I can't tell if she's just frowning at herself at this point. When all logic's gone out the fucking window, her stick of being the rational mind here is certainly a challenge. With a small nod, she turns, heading out with the rest. I sigh, pulling back the lever on my repeater and watching the clip extend outward. I remembered to load it, after all. Here's hoping I don't need it. I push it back in and head outside. Leo's quiet as he drives, occasionally checking the rearview mirror. Everyone else is pretty silent too. It's weird being in a car with Carl and him just sitting there quietly, not staring at his phone or anything. It's like he doesn't know what to look at, and is stuck pondering his own thoughts for a change. I look back at Jenna, who's monitoring her phone for any sign that the signal will stay consistent enough to get a message out. It's hard to believe, but she was actually trying to apologize earlier. In her own weird way, of course. Part of me wanted to say I was sorry for what I said at the river about how she treats her family, but that would be lying. I'm not sorry for what I said. but I can tell when something hit hard and hurt more than I'm happy with. People dance around shit all the time, when so much of this bullshit could have been avoided if people were just honest with each other. I roll down the window and prop my knees up on the dash, craning my neck some to peer at TJ in the mirror. He knows I'm watching him. Hell, I think everyone's watching him. Even with Socket Man as a cover story, him keeping silent about all this for so long is just cruel. Did he truly think not mentioning the fur color of the person in the water with Sydney was for the best? Maybe he thought he could avoid a situation like this, our group getting shattered. Well, our group is fucked now. No way in hell I want to hang out with anyone but Carl after all this shit. And it wasn't like it was all peaches and gravy these past few years anyway. Chase, TJ, and Jenna haven't so much as texted me since they left for college. And Leo? Tch. He used to visit me back at the warehouse when I packed freight. We fucked a couple times, but he seemed to get more and more disgusted with the arrangement. I couldn't tell if it was with me or him, but it was awkward as hell. I mean, I'm not the sentimental type, but when you're being screwed by somebody and they glance away anytime you look at them, it makes you feel like shit. I eventually had enough. Told him I wasn't his fucking otter and to get a fleshlight like the rest of us. He cut me out of his life right then and there. Even stopped visiting Carl. It's shitty watching somebody who was once a social butterfly turn into an absolute recluse. For the first part of this week, he was trying so hard to act like his old self that nothing had changed. We were fags and weirdos in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and of course, we stuck together at first. But, as Carl says, shit's broken now. As we make the turn off onto Margaret Street, I spot the familiar dust-covered plastic flamingos that adorn Auntie's yard. The manufactured house was built back in the 80s, and still dons this sort of faded turquoise color scheme. She added these pink, diamond-shaped bathroom tiles all around the roof's edge a couple years ago, too. For Halloween and Christmas, she hangs up neon-colored tube lighting, and I swear you can see her house lit up from miles away. I'm not entirely sure what aesthetic she's going for. Carl called it vintage trailer trash once, and I guess that's fitting enough. Leo slows the van some as we approach. I don't see any lights on. No car in the driveway. She can't have parked in the garage. Ship's still packed full of boxes of Uncle's stuff. Guys? Salamander pokes the glass of the window next to him, pointing at something across the street. That's, Karen's place, right? Our old bus driver. It looks like somebody broke in. Is that recent? The colored glass of the front door is shattered. Piles of Technicolor shards are splayed across the concrete porch. Yeah, very. As in, it wasn't like this when I stopped by this morning. People are taking advantage of emergency services being out. I hope she's okay. Her car's not here either. They broke her statue, too. The little sombrero Chihuahua man statue she had next to the door is completely shattered. It's smashed into 100 pieces. The wooden Bienvenido sign that used to hang around his neck is split in half and laying in the dirt. Good. Jenna mumbles. I clutch my rifle a little tighter, trying to see if there's any movement going on inside the house. It's completely still beyond the light swaying of pink lace curtains from the breeze outside.
It's still probably best we speak with the mayor. Perhaps with what's going on, she'd return to City Hall?
My heart drops in my chest.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hopefully the crazy guy is gone by now.
I don't know. She usually doesn't work Saturdays. Jenna raises an eyebrow at me.
Well, this is quite a Saturday, Flynn.
Leo sighs, putting the van into gear.
City Hall it is.